Stratagems are the most important and powerful resource you have against the devastating and numerous armies of insects and robots that you'll face in Helldivers 2. Early on, you may be wondering which of these abilities to spend your valuable requisition slips on. After some testing and a whole lot of dead bugs, here are our top recommendations for which early stratagems you should prioritize in Helldivers 2. The first stratagem we recommend unlocking is the AMG43 Machine Gun Sentry. This stationary defensive tower is quick, deadly, and kills enemies automatically, making it the perfect backup when you need to hold down the fort in one area while taking on hordes of bugs. Especially in these early days when matchmaking is spotty and you might find yourself involuntarily playing solo, this gadget becomes essential to keeping enemies at bay while you jam your finger at command consoles. A word of warning though, like pretty much everything in this game, the turret can turn on you and your friends and kill you if misused. It auto-targets the nearest enemy even if you or another ally is standing in front of it. So if there's a bug sneaking up on you, the turret may spin around and shoot through you to get the job done. So be very careful when you place these lethal guys.
Last reload.
The second stratagem we endorse is the B1 supply pack. When deployed, this backpack can be hoisted on a player's back and can be used to store resupply ammo crates, which you can then distribute to your teammates by approaching them. Since ammo can get scarce quickly, the extra source of bullets can make the going a whole lot easier. Even better, you can restock the supply pack by looting resupply drops, so you never have to worry about leaving behind unused ammo. One thing to note is that this stratagem will occupy your backpack equipment slot, so you'll be unable to equip this at the same time as other backpack gadgets like the Watchdog drone. That might not matter in the early game, but it's a good idea to make sure you don't bring more than one of these kinds of gadgets with you on a mission. The third stratagem we'd like to suggest is the offensive Eagle airstrike, which you can use to send a fighter jet overhead to drop a bevy of bombs on your foes.
How'd you like the taste of freedom?
Amazingly, this strike happens almost immediately after you call it in and can be done twice with very low cooldowns in between before you have to send the jet back to base for a longer cooldown. Naturally, all airstrikes have a very good chance of killing you and your squad mates, but it's especially true with this one since the strike happens so quickly after you throw the marker. Make sure to check your surroundings and over-communicate with friends before tossing one of these out there. You definitely don't want to lob this one a few feet away from you in a panic unless you've got a death wish or a great sense of humor. While this one may take a bit of work since it unlocks at level 8, the Incendiary Mines are killer to have if you can make room for them in your loadout. After crash landing on the planet, the Incendiary Mines pod will spit out dozens of mines that explode when touched. Of course, be sure to call out to your team that you've deployed it, as it can blow them and yourself up as well. While labeled as a defensive stratagem, you'll also find luck using these offensively as well, as you can drop the pod in the middle of a bug nest for devastating results. But of course, defensively is where it shines, as you can toss the pod in front of you while running from a swarm of bugs, or use them to create death lanes while waiting for an exfil. Rounding out the list is another level 8 stratagem, this time the Mortar Strike. The Mortar Strike requires a bit more of a tactical approach, as just dropping it in the fray of battle won't serve you much and will likely get you killed. Instead, as you approach a bug encampment, dropping a Mortar Strike will allow you to drop long-range, arcing shells at the enemies to clear out infestations. The pros to this stratagem, opposed to something like the machine gun turret, is that bugs don't need to be on your screen for the Mortar Strike to target them. It can see over walls and take them down. Also, a huge advantage the Mortar Strike has over the other turrets is the amount of shells it has. This thing will be shooting for days and has incredible range. The downfall, as I mentioned, is that the Mortar Strike needs to be set up preemptively. The mortars have a bit of travel time and will shoot where the bugs are at the moment, so if they're chasing you, they'll often miss. Also, as with all defensive artillery, the Mortar Strike does not care if it hits you or a teammate, and there's nothing worse than forgetting that the Mortar Strike is live and having a shell hit a bug that's within shotgun distance of you or a friend.
Yes, your mortar.
And those are our top recommendations for the best stratagems to prioritize early on in Helldivers 2. We're still unlocking and testing out some of the more advanced ones and hoping to have a guide for higher level stuff later on. But for now, keep making use of those drop pods and watch out for friendly fire. And of course, for everything else video games, stick with IGN.